Hey, good morning, you guys. Dr. B here. This is the Saturday version of Coffee Talk, and Christmas is here year round in the Hester household. And so it's late in the morning, so the coffee's all gone, but the spirit is strong. And what do we always say? Jesus is the reason for the season, but Santa stays in our coffee drawer all year long. So I hope you guys are having a blessed Saturday and you're off to a great start. And so I wanted to take some time and then let's cover the next journey in this story of why I do what I do. Now, the first one that I shared on maybe it was Thursday, but that was I shared all the way up through when I was overweight as a child. And then I decided to get busy and I knew that I needed to do something. And I decided to start playing football. And so our decisions of the past actually shape us with what we want to do in the future. And so I think it's really important to understand is that the mistakes that you make and the things that you do are a fiber of who you are as an adult, and that's okay. And so when we start talking about this for me personally, like in the last episode, I told you that, I was overweight as a child and I knew I needed to do something. So I want to tell you and I want to share something with you that really is a pivotal point in my story. So that one thing that I decided I wanted to do was I wanted to start playing football. And I went out for football. And anything in our family, our parents, my mom and my dad always said, we finish what we start. And so they paid the money. I signed up for football. I was overweight. And I remember my dad driving me to practice. And this was at Block Park in Selma. And it was on the field there. And for warm-ups, they're like, we need you to run 3 laps around the field. Okay, this was the baseball field that we were practicing on. And so I ran the first lap, huffing and a puffing, and midway through the second lap, I just stopped. I put my hands on my hips and I walked across the outfield, back across the infield to where my dad was standing. And he was standing on the side of the fence and he said, "What's up? Are you okay?" And I said, "Dad, I can't do this. I want to quit." And so my dad looked at me and he probably won't even remember this, but he said, "I told you when we started this that we were going to finish whatever we started." And so my dad would not let me quit. And he said, "You can not want to do it." He said, "But your word is the only thing that matters." And he said, "So you're going to finish it. So go on back over there, finish your laps." And that was such a pivotal moment in my life because my dad, the word commitment means doing what you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has actually gone. And I didn't, I mean, obviously I'm too young to understand that, but here's where that happened. So I did finish. I still didn't like it. I still didn't have a love for it. But one thing changed. I got involved in weight training when I was in eighth grade, and I absolutely loved it. And we had a coach that came to our school. The year before I went to a county school, there was a coach, and the football team, the varsity football team, went 0 and 10. And so he brought in a program called Bigger, Faster, Stronger. And it was about being bigger, being faster, being stronger through speed training, through agility, and through weightlifting. And so he brought in this system that we could plug into, and we got busy with doing summer workouts. We got busy in the weight room and on the football field. Now, my first year before that coach came, okay, this was in eighth grade. I played junior varsity football. We went 0 and 6, did not win a single game. We were absolutely horrible. Okay. And this is going to be, I guess it was my ninth grade year. So then the coach who's there, he put in this system, right, to build belief and speak belief into all of the players. And then my sophomore year, I was in 10th grade. We won an Alabama state championship football, a state football championship. And so he went from 0 and 10 to winning a state title in the third year. And so, but one thing that he taught, we had a coach and his name was Alan Shelton, and I played on the offense and defensive line. And I remember him saying this specifically because I would push that stupid sled all the time. And he would say, it's the little things that will allow you to be successful. And it's the little things that will allow you to get your butt beat. And He said, you need to focus on the little things, and that's not getting penalties and keeping your hands inside when you're blocking and driving till the whistle and all of those little things. And Coach Nelson, who was my football coach, he always told my mom, you were too nice. He said, Brian, he's a good football player, but he smiles too much. He's too nice. He needs to be mean. And as that story unfolded, so I'm part of the state championship team. And the way Alabama used to be is the northern half of the state was predominantly white schools. The southern half of the state was predominantly black schools. And then the two brackets met in the middle. So we met in the state championship game, and we met an undefeated team. They had the best offense and defense in the state statistically. We had lost 3 games. And so we went 3-3 and then won all of the rest of our games to make it to the state final game. And that team, when we played them in the state championship game, if memory serves me, we beat them 41-7. Not only did we beat them, we pretty much demolished them and dominated them. Now, we won. We're excited. Fast forward to next year. We're playing football. It's great. We're in 3A in Alabama, which is the mid classification, because I think at that time our school only had less than 700 people. And so we go and we're undefeated. We run the table through the year. We are ready to cash it in and repeat as champions. Well, last year we played a team in the second round called Luverne, and they had us down. They were on our 5-yard line, or maybe even the 3-yard line. It was close. They were getting ready to score. It was less than a minute left in the game. They ran a play. We stopped them. They ran a second play. They fumbled. We recovered. Game over. We won. We went on to win the state title. Well, guess who'd been seething all year and waiting on us to come back around? And that was good old Luverne. And so we met them in the second round of this year. And we, at the time, were on a 25-game winning streak. And we were the shiznizzle, right? We were going to do it. We had already beat them once. Man, from the moment the whistle went, they had this kid. I do not remember his name. I do know he was a linebacker, and I do know he was a running back. And he was playing like he was possessed. And at halftime, we were down 21-0, and we're like, we can come back, we can come back, we can come back. And then the opening kickoff of the second half, they run it back for a touchdown. We lost 35-0. Okay? So I had tasted the highs, and now I tasted the lows. And now my senior year, I'm going to finish this out. There were 3 seniors my senior year, myself, Mitt Ware, and another guy named Charles Johnson. And we were the only 3 seniors. Both of those guys got injured. And for the good part of the year, I was the only senior that was on our team that was still playing. And I want to say that year, if memory serves me correctly, I think that was the year that Coach Nelson left. He took a different job. So we won a state title, went undefeated, and lost in the playoffs. He took a job promotion, and then we had a subsequent coach that was one of our assistant coaches. And that my senior year, we only won 2 or 3 games. Okay. I still had a blast playing football. But I share that with you because part of this life experience, and if you know me, you know one of the things that I always tell people is, look, I'm successful because of all my failures. And I had a lot of failures early on in my life. I played on a baseball team. We were 0-15, and we won 1 game, and we finished 1-15. I played on a junior varsity football team that was 0-6. We lost every game. I got to experience the high of a state title and the work that it took to be undefeated for my junior year. And then I was right back down to the lows because we didn't have the talent and we didn't have the people that wanted to put in the work. Okay. So in sharing my story, why I do what I do, I was overweight as a kid. So I started on this trajectory of being healthy and losing weight. And when I graduated high school, I was still about 185 pounds, maybe around 200 pounds, but I was in much better shape. So I'll share a picture after I do this story. And then now, at this point, I've figured out what I want to do with my life. And I'll share that when I talk about Coffee Talk next. All right? You guys be blessed. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.